Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. So welcome everyone. It is really, really exciting to have all of you, all 81 plus people attending this session, the first one for the public image team. So tēnā tātou katoa, good morning or afternoon to you all from Aotearoa, Waitaha, Christchurch, Canterbury, here in Aotearoa, New Zealand. I am Sarita McLean, the Regional Rotary Public Image Coordinator, and it really is so lovely to see you all here today. We are joining together today from across Australia, New Zealand, Timor-Leste, Fiji, and further afield from Nigeria and India. And on behalf of all of us, I acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which each of us meet, live, learn, and work. I acknowledge and honor Indigenous cultures, traditions, country, iwi, and nation, and pay my respects as appropriate to elders and leaders, kaumatua and kuia, past, present, and emerging. I'm so privileged to be facilitating this session, the first of many organized by the Zone Public Image team. Just a little bit about myself. I've been a member of Christchurch South Rotary for the past 13 years and was honored to be governor of District 9970, which is located in the Upper South Island of New Zealand. And I've been in this role of Rotary Public Image Coordinator since 1st July 2021. So not too long before I've taken ownership of this role from Gina Grouden. And I'm supported by a fabulous group of Assistant Rotary Public Image Coordinators. So this session is the third one for public image this month, following our zone conference, had training for the governor-elects and nominees, and now this session, Introduction to Public Image for you all. I'd like to thank my tech support as by my wonderful nephew, Rahul Singh, who is really a specialist in the audiovisual and lighting world. So thank you, Rahul. So a little note about housekeeping. If you can please put your name and district number on your profile, that would be really helpful. And if you can please just mute yourselves, that would be appreciated. Just minimizes that background noises. You know, it might be TV going, might be dogs barking or telephone going as well. That would be so appreciated. And if you have any questions, just please pop it down in your chat function. And we will keep an eye out and attempt to answer these questions as we go along. I have allowed some time towards the end of the session. We have 2 breakout sessions where you have the opportunity to discuss with some of your colleagues from across New Zealand, Australia, and further afield, some of your challenges in the public image space. And I've given you about 10 minutes in total to be able to do this discussion. And you'll come back. And because of the time constraints, unfortunately, we probably won't hear back from each or 10 or 12 of those groups. I'll just pick on a couple of the groups to actually maybe share with the rest of us. I will be recording, as you know, this session, and I will make this available to you all if you need this, and to those of us who could not be here today. So what we're going to cover today is the Rotary brand, the importance of a visual identity and logo, and I'll talk about some of those resources available, the Brand Center and the Learning Center. I should point this out. This is an introduction to public image. And we have a number of people who have registered, who have so many considerable years of experience in this field. But equally, we have some people who are very, very new to this public image space. So if you are mindful that we have a range of people in this session here today, and would really appreciate if you can share your skills and experiences with those of us who are very, very new to this space. Okay, so let's just have a quick look at our zone. Our zone is Australia, New Zealand, and Pacific Island, which is Zone 8. It's got 25 districts and 20 countries. And it's quite a huge area it covers. Australia, New Zealand, Norfolk Island, Northern Mariana Islands, Palau, Papua New Guinea, Samoa, Solomon Islands, Timor-Leste, Tonga, Vanuatu, American Samoa, Cook Islands, Fiji, French Polynesia, Guam, Kiribati, Federated States of Micronesia, Nauru, and New Caledonia. So all in all, around 1,314 clubs and 33,299 members. And I'm hoping that number is increasing as we speak. So who's in the team? I will introduce the members of my team here. We have Daryl Isipi. Daryl looks after 2 districts, 9560 and 9620. We also have Andy Marcelos, who looks after 3 districts, 9640, 9650, and 9670. Ken Miller, who looks after 3 districts, 9780, 9800, and 9810. We also have Rosalind Tierney, who looks after 9790, 9820, 9830, Malini Raghavan, 9910, 9920, 9930, and Liz Courtney, who looks after 9940, 9970, and 9980. And while you might be thinking, what about the districts? Some of my districts are not represented. Well, I'm in the process of replacing 2 of my team. So hopefully the appointment won't take too long. But we are supported by Angela Stavrogiannopoulos, the Rotary International South Pacific and Philippines office, the Senior Coordinator Communications and Public Image based in Sydney. So Angela looks after the external side of public image, but very much a valuable member of our team. Okay, so our Rotary brand. So you may just think of a brand as simply a product. For example, the kind of rice or coffee or tea you might buy, or you might think of it as a logo, an advertising slogan. Nike, lots of other exciting logos and brands that are very, very well known worldwide. So when you think about Rotary's brand, you might think of our name and our wheel. It's true that logos visually communicate an organization's brand, but a brand is just more than its logos. And our brand is much, much bigger than our wheel. So why is branding important to us? Would you mind taking a couple of minutes to just quickly pop down on the chat function why you think branding is important to us? Goodness, some pretty fast typers here. The word consistency does come in quite a lot. Recognition, respect, a common message, who we are, unity. My goodness, single, powerful, identifiable mark that represents and resonates with conscious goodness being done in our world. I really like that. Community awareness and recognition, identity. Fantastic. Thank you so much for all of you for putting that out there. For me, it's about promoting Rotary's brand. And how do we do that? We have to protect Rotary's good name and intellectual property. Secondly, it's to credit and recognize members, clubs, districts, and programs for the good work that they do. And thirdly, we can tell our story in a consistent manner. And it is through this consistent brand communicated to the public by all of us as Rotary brand ambassadors that we can increase our community and member involvement in our service projects and fundraisers, strengthen our existing club through member engagement, increases our club's membership by attracting new members and grow new clubs. More and more people know and understand who we are. We can inspire interest in prospective members, and we can expand that reach for prospective members, which increases our impact, sponsorship, and fundraising. Now, let's start looking at our logo. Question for you. Which is our current logo? The one on the left or the one on the right?
The right.
On the right.
On the right, awesome. I think that's fantastic. And does anyone know when we started using the logo on the right?
Nearly 10 years ago.
Nearly 10 years ago?
7 years ago, I thought.
7 years ago? Well, it's been more than 5 years, hasn't it? If you're not sure, well, it's certainly been over 5 years. So here we have our old blue and gold logo, which was retired more than 5 years ago. Let's not just split hairs here. Been retired for a while to be replaced by the one on the right. So people were really confused about the older wheel and really didn't associate with it. Our current logo, we can't keep calling it the new logo. Surely after 5 years, it is our logo. So let's just retire that old logo because I think it's time for its retirement, and let's start using the current one. So as brand ambassadors, I urge all of you to start using the logo on the right. Okay, let's just have a look at the master brand. If you are not sure about how to create a logo, you can create it in Brand Center. It is very easy to do so. And you can specify it whichever color that you want, black, blue, or full color, or white. And white is, even though it's a bit hard to create that, it is there, so it can be superimposed on a black background. And where you'd like your club name, either above the word Rotary, below it, or both above and below. So there are some guidelines here. This is just a short part of our guideline here. So in terms of the Rotary Club, this is what it looks like. This is what it should be. Our club logo should be like. Rotary International logo, standard logo, and then the Rotary Foundation logo. It was quite interesting at the session which was run last week for the governor-elects and governor nominees. And there was this discussion about some of our clubs have lots of very young members, and we have Rotarectors, and they really want to put their spin on the logo because, you know, to make it more edgy and to make it so they can resonate with it. So and they thought, goodness, what do we do here? And I said, well, think about it. McDonald's, who actually works at McDonald's? Lots of young people, huh? And I'm sure these young people would really love to go to town with the McDonald's logo. But is that really allowed? Not. So, quick answer to your question. is no, you can't actually play around with the logo. The logo is our brand. And sorry, any young people, this is how it is, and this is what it is. And if you want to make some changes, you have to go through the proper channels and try and lobby those changes. It just doesn't happen just like that. Logos at a glance. There are some resources which what I will do is I will share in the chat function when I can access it. What I would recommend that you do is just save them on your desktop. So it is really quick guide. There's a 2-page guideline document which just shows, you know, what the club, how you actually place it, when you go into the brand center, how you make it, what the colors are that you should be using. If you've got to go anywhere else to make your logo, you're doing it wrong. So the heading to the brand center is the best option, best way to go. If you haven't had an opportunity to log into the brand center and explore its contents, I invite you to add this to your Rotary task list for the next few months, if you're thinking about something to do in the weekends. Right, let's have a quick poll here now. Now, is this compliant? Okay, so the poll result. Vast majority is saying yes. Few of us are saying no. The ones who are saying no, would you mind sharing why you think it's no?
People of Action is a specific program of Rotary, and it's got its own logo.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you, Brian.
Agree.
Isn't People of Action a campaign that separates it?
Okay. Not sure? And the ones who say yes?
I think it looks edgy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, let's look at question 2 now. What about this one? Okay, well, the majority are saying no, 68%. This is now used for the lockup. So to the right of the wheel, this is more for our project partners. So this is not compliant. Right, the third one. It is the ones who are saying yes. Would you mind sharing why you say yes?
I thought it was because I was questioning the capital letters
Mhm.
of Brisbane Water. However, I thought that, I mean, it was, you know, next to the appropriate logo, and it was in the, you know, just to the right side of it. So it was in okay.
Mhm.
There you go.
Okay. Well, the wording should be to the left of the wheel, so it is not compliant.
The rotary has to also be in the center as well. Yeah, like with the hole in the middle of the wheel, doesn't it?
Yes, so whether this obviously hasn't been created using the brain center. So if it's not created in the brain center, it's probably not compliant. Question 4. Let me just get to question 4. Oh, okay. Right, so the majority of us saying yes, we still have a few people who are saying no. Is there any reasons why you're saying it's not compliant?
I thought that Club of had to stack above Christchurch South.
No.
Aspect ratio of the wheel is wrong.
Yeah.
Yep.
The wheel's oblong.
Yeah, the wheel's not round as it's
Mhm.
supposed to be.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's been condensed, so it might be just a photo that we see, but
Mhm. So there are quite a few things in here. So maybe if it's skewed like this, maybe not so, if we are being, you know, looking at this critically. And the last one. I do apologize for the image. I just had to copy it from documents. Which is the Rotary New Zealand World Community Service. Okay, so we have a few people who are saying no, and quite a few saying they're not sure. So anyone would like to share why it's not compliant?
The logo to the far right-hand side is too tall.
Mhm.
It's higher than the wheel
Yeah.
or the lock-up line.
Okay.
then the rotary logo, even on that logo, is not compliant as well.
Mhm. Okay. Right. Sandy, you raised your hand.
Yeah, I was just going to say that my understanding is that you can only have writing to the right of the logo, not actually logos. So it could actually say Rotary New Zealand World Community Service, but not with logos.
Oh, sorry. Logo is yeah, image. Yeah, so it's certainly not probably right. So a couple of there's images in here, like the Rotary Emergency Response Kit. There's the Rotary wheel in there as well. So I would probably say that maybe it's not the right. It's not correct.
What about
The Australian Rotary World Community Service
Yes.
one is very similar to that.
Yes.
Has exactly the same sort of setup, but and it has the logo in the middle, and there's another bit on the end which is for oh, where is it? Where's my glasses? Registered charity mark. So it's got a picture of Australia World with Rotary World Community Service and the registered charity mark alongside of it.
Okay.
And it says the Australian districts, exactly the same as that. So and that one was set up through the site. But admittedly, it's the last one is not bigger than any of the rest of the thing.
So it is quite, so these were just the ones that I've just picked up, and apologies to Brisbane Waters. I was hoping that I would not, use some other districts. I can criticize my own district, I guess. So it's just looking at, some of these logos here. Some of them are not compliant at all. So it really requires a look at it quite critically for us to be seen as brand ambassadors. Sandy, you've got your hand up again.
Yeah, Lindsay May just made a good point that if you go into the brand center, it actually won't allow you to create a logo using images.
Okay.
So if you're talking about using the brand center and to remain compliant, you couldn't actually create this logo.
No, probably not. Okay. Thank you for that, Lindsay. All right, so I have been speaking long enough, and it is time that I put you in a group discussion. So let's just see. Let's see what we can do here. So I'm going to pop you into a breakout group and get you in your groups to answer these two questions here. And I'll give you 10 minutes. And at the 8-minute mark, I will send you a reminder. Might even pop in, and then I'll get invite some of your groups to actually share with the wider group. Okay, so let's just hear from a couple of the groups, please. Let us hear from 7, and that is Leo's group, Leo Ferrelli, Greg King, and Sharon Hamilton, Chris and Cindy.
Yeah. Leo's in charge.
Right. Dubbed in again. Yeah, okay, on the first question, misconceptions. Yeah, it's an old boys network. It's for rich white people.
Okay.
It's only about barbecues. It's seen as elitist by a lot of people, with our push that it's for professional people only. You need to be invited.
Okay.
It's men only.
Okay.
Or it's a club for retirees.
Okay.
That was the scope we had on that one.
Okay. Wow. Nothing can be further from the truth, though, can it?
There are 17 women on my screen and 6 men.
Yes. Goodness.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so let us look at breakout room 1, and that has David McPherson, Frank Warner, Margaret Barnes, Marilyn Kenny, Rachel Thomas, and Warwick. There was a district governor elect in there, which is why I chose that room.
Oh, well, similar sort of responses. Yeah. Professional, elitists have to be invited, and yeah, retirees, I suppose. But and then the second part of the question was, how can we get the clubs to change it? Yeah, well, that was a bit of a difficult one. Rachel, can you give us a hand with that? You're on mute, Rachel.
We talked about making it a regular thing at our meetings, so making sure that everybody was aware of the importance of showing that we're not fitting those perceptions that people had. So just make it front of mind. And we talked about sort of practicing what we preach, and so we live that within ourselves and talk about how we're not just for professionals. Someone else mentioned that there's a perception that we're attached to religion or a cult. So we obviously need to make sure that that is a perception that can be held and disputed, and just show that we are here for the community with all the great things that we do in so many ways.
Wonderful, great answer there, Rachel. Fantastic. And let us hear from room 10, and this is Dorothy Hennessy. Dorothy Hennessy's group, and it's got Liz, Peggy Sanders, Sue Morgan, Jeff Hicks, Graham Fusen, and Fraser McBride.
Who wants to speak?
Did you want me to start?
Can we give it to you?
We sort of encapsulated the first part of the question in the term grey, male and stale, with the barbecue focus, and that it's a very business meeting perception. We looked at ways that we can address that misconception by making sure that as a club we're visible in having fun, lightening up, being visible in using our imaging to attract members, to change the way that we do things, to refocus on mission, especially through storytelling, about having fun and doing good, about being project driven, about identifying the skills and the interests of the members, supporting those skills and interests and utilising them in the club, having different categories of membership, and having a look at ideas from other clubs and what they're doing to engage the audience.
Fantastic, well done. Really great answers there. So there's a lot of great ways of changing that perception as well, isn't there? Okay, so let us just now look at the resourcing which is available. And let me share my screen again. Back to this. So the resources in here, I have mentioned the Brain Centre quite a number of times today. It is our one-stop shop for resources such as those guidelines, logos, templates, flyers, brochures, press releases, etc. So if you are not familiar at all, I strongly urge that you do take some time to log on and explore it, to familiarize yourself with all of those materials available. And you'll be really amazed at what you can do. And you can access it directly from Rotary.org, Brain Centre, or from My Rotary through the Manage Pull Down tab. In either way, you will need to log on. And if you do not have those credentials, you might want to talk with your district secretary to make sure that you are all linked in. So everything related to Rotary's brand identity system is contained in the Voice and Visual Identity Guideline. And it provides everything that you need to know and more about Rotary's identity elements and how to use them. So I guess it's, so I do recommend you download it from the Brain Centre. And as I think I said before, I'll share it in the chat function, those the 2-page guide and the bigger guide as well. So you do have access to those folders rather than having to go into Brain Centre and trying to find them. Because it also includes those colors that we should be using. I do have those Rotary blue, these 3 shades of blue and 1 of gold. The blue is royal blue. I actually thought that was the only blue that was really important, but there is azure and sky blue as well. There's the licensed and the free fonts that you should be using, the types of images and photographs for telling our Rotary stories, our tone of voice and messaging and more. And you might find that some of the images on there are very much, dare I use the word, very Americanized. There is a project to be able to put some of our images in there. So it looks like, when you put a brochure, it looks like you and I. It is reflective of our zone of Australia, New Zealand, and the Pacific Islands. So there is actually a project in place at the moment. And Angela and I, we all working together on that one. Okay, so in terms of the resources, as I said, there is the public relations guide, there's a media crisis guide, there's lots of guidelines available, which is fantastic. And the most important one, which is the voice and visual identity guideline, it is quite a big document, but it does explain things really, really well. You know, we really want every club and every member to have a similar look and feel in our communications with the public. And it is that word consistency, which we talked about, you know, earlier on this afternoon, that we're wanting to achieve, regardless of where we are, whether we're here in Christchurch here in New Zealand, Adelaide in South Australia, Suva, Fiji, Lower Blue Mountains in New South Wales, Australia, that we build that awareness and understanding of Rotary, certainly in our zone. And I guess it is making sure that we've got these resources in place. And in terms of the backdrop, I have the Rotary fabric wall, which is prominently in my office, and it is quite a clunky bit to put up, but it is a fabulous backdrop to when I have all my Rotary meeting, and sometimes non-Rotary meetings as well, because because I'm so proud of this organization and want to be able to promote it at every opportunity possible. The Learning Center is another area that you might want to get to. And there are some really good resources in here. The materials, it doesn't take too long. It's not too onerous to complete. 10, 15, 30 minutes. You can take your time and complete these. Public relations in your club, Rotary branch, our logo, all of these wonderful things. We also, what we will be doing is including some training for the zone. So the training will be very, very specific, very much like this type of session. And those topics will be dependent on the feedback from you. What is it that you want us to discuss and talk about and tell you? So you're very, very much part of this equation. It's a two-way process. You need to tell us what sort of things that you want us, the public image team, certainly to talk about, and we will try and deliver those. And how often, as more importantly as well. Okay, well, I have got another quick breakout exercise for you. And in this one, I'm not going to give you all of 10 minutes. I'm going to shorten it for 5 minutes. And how can you help your club get up to date with Rotary's visual identity? Because all of our clubs are struggling, my club included. And I'll give you a very quick story here. I gave a presentation earlier in the year talking about my role, because I said I'm representing my club at a zone level, and it is important that they know that I'm representing them. So after that session, I had a whole lot of people say, Sarita, can you check this to make sure we are compliant? And I go, yes, tick, tick, tick. Everything was fine. We have a major fundraiser, which is selling chicken manure. Well, it took a while, but we finally got the right branding. We got the right sandwich boards to go about. Very simple, and it has got our logo and says chicken manure. The other day, we had a meeting, and they were talking about the old, sandwich boards. And I said, what are you going to do about them? I had to sit on my hands sometimes, and they said, well, we might have to dump them. I thought, are you sure? And they go, yes, we will dump those old, gold and blue logos. So that's fantastic. This is what my club has come up with. I didn't have to push hard on this one. But equally, there are some instances when the branding, even in my club, is not quite right. And it is about trying to keep talking graciously and gently with our club, our colleagues, and telling them about our identity. So I'm going to give you not 10 minutes, 5 minutes to talk within your groups, how you can help your club. So let me just put you out into your breakout rooms again. Good to see you back.
Got hit in full flight then.
I know.
Yeah, we did too. Poor Marge was in the middle of a story. We were looking forward to hearing that.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Good sign.
Sarita, if I may, Sarita, Sue Hooper has the best idea I've heard in years, and we should hear from her.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Bob. So, Sue Hooper, you have been asked by Bob.
Where are you, Sue?
Yeah, I was unmuted. I was just saying in our group that a couple of years ago, our club, we were able to have access to the local high school computer lab. And we had a couple of sessions where one of our members was very good with branding, etc., and put everybody on the same page at the same time. And looking forward to hopefully doing another session probably next year.
Fantastic.
But yeah, you need to have a good connection with your school, local school.
And a good teacher.
And a good teacher.
Is there anywhere there's a very short video up to 5 minutes that actually shows the old logos and the new logos and explains why it was changed, why they got rid of the mark of excellence? Well, I know the mark of excellence is still there, but why they actually changed from one to the other that might try and move people with it?
Bob, you might want to answer this one.
I don't know of anything, but we need to always adopt a very positive attitude. I know that Gina Crowden worked long and hard at this when her term commenced before you, and she was very patient, and she worked with everyone to ease them in. Now, we really have to accept that the world has changed, and that these new branding changes are very important to be consistent and to be in this modern world. You mentioned McDonald's. Most people wouldn't know that McDonald's have changed their logos subtly 10, 12 times. And
27 times.
27 times, thank you. And that's a sign of how we progress along the right paths. And there are so many other things you can do, but the logo is very attractive, used the right way. As you know, we've just finished the centenary book, and we worked closely with RI to make sure we had the right branding in that. And it's not hard if you seek the right advice. And I know Sarita and her team will help you all the way along the way. What you've seen today has been great. Well done, Sarita. And there's no reason why you can't all take those slides to your clubs and ask them the same questions. It's a great learning method.
I have seen 2 videos from the marketing company on in conjunction with Rotary as to why it was changed and the pitfalls for clubs in not adapting to the changes. I'll try and dig them up. I still have got them, and they're part of my membership things I've got here, but I would be able to dig them up and get them out too. I'll share it with you, Margaret, and I can share it with you, Sarita, if I find it. Yeah.
No, thank you, and I will add that to the list of information I can send out to you.
Now, Sarita, I did ask a question earlier, and now I'm going to ask it verbally. Is there any need to leave the words club of in the logo? And now the feedback I've got is from yes, no, different answers. We actually need a consistent answer from somebody.
We do. Right, well, let's just look for the most senior person in this room.
That's you, Bob.
I would say that it's a matter of self-choice. You don't have to. I've used without the of the for some time in the magazine and pub use, but some of the old diehards like to stick to that, and I don't think there's any rule against it at this time, Sarita.
Well, Parramatta office told me you had to use it.
As long as it's on your official paperwork, yes, you have to use it. But when you were branding on banners and things like that, no, you do not.
That's right. Thank you.
Here.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Because if it's the official logo, yes, officially, yes, our club is called Rotary Club of Christchurch South, Inc. So I need to use that, even though I personally do not like the word club, but I'll put that out there. So I've always talked about Christchurch South Rotary in everyday speak, but formally, yes, the Rotary Club of Christchurch South. So that's where the difference is. Okay, so thank you, everybody. And is it okay if I go just a few minutes over?
Yes.
Yeah, wonderful. Didn't realize there'll be so much discussion today. So let me just continue. these are my public image goals for this year, and I thought it was important that I shared these with all of you. And I guess it's the first one is to encourage everyone to be a brand ambassador. It's you and I, it's all of us together. We will do this. And it's encouraging every single Rotarian in 100% of our districts to tell the Rotary stories, because each of us, we have a fantastic story to tell about Rotary. And it is about a passion that it is us who needs to do this. We can't rely on anyone else to do it for us. Promoting Rotary service projects. So it is about using our social media channels to tell these stories, whatever channels they are. But that's another, another training session in itself, is about use of social media. Number 3 is promote World Polio Day events and activities. And I'm sure this will gladden Bob's heart very much. It's about promotion of polio, which is one of our signature events, and we really should be right behind it. Number 4 is ensuring that 100% or provide opportunities for learning. It is about making sure all of our district public image chairs complete the courses or have access to the types of training or the sessions like today, in whatever form it would take. And it is really the district public image chairs, the club public image chairs, anyone interested in this whole public image space, they are given that right information. So that's sort of my goal, is number 4. And number 5 is promote those Rotary Days of Service, which comes really from the Rotary International President's focus for his Rotary year. It is about promoting those things about our club. We are a pretty active organization, and I think it is about trying to push that out there. We are, when people talk about we're stale, male, pale, I don't see that. When I see all of you in my club, I don't see the gray hairs. I don't see any of those. I just see people who are fantastic people who are out there doing everything that they can for their communities. That's what I see. And I really would like a whole lot of my community and every single person to see that as well. And so I'm going to do whatever I can in my power to try and push that out, but I need your help to do this as well. So will you please join me in doing that?
Most
Yes, wonderful. All right, so there are some, we have the Rotary Zone 8 website, and you can find all of our details, the public image, assistant Rotary public image coordinators, all the details in there. So if you have any issues, please do, do make contact with them. You can certainly make contact with me, and I will try and help you in whichever way I can. We've also got the Rotary Oceania website as well, which is rotaryoceania.zone, which is the New Zealand and the Pacific for the 6 Rotary districts here in New Zealand that we have our own website. Okay, so where to next from today? This is not the end. This is just the start. And we have 3 years, certainly three of my years to do this. So what I would like you to do is just take a little bit of time, whether it's right now or straight after the session, is to reflect on what you will do differently. And I guess we all know about the traffic light system. It's about what you will do differently, what you will stop doing immediately, what you will continue doing, because there's some fabulous things that you are already doing that you should just continue doing those, and some things that you might want to start doing. So please think about all of that as you reflect after this. So don't forget, you are not alone. Help is readily available, either through the resources in the Learning Center. Reach out to your club, district public image team. If you're not sure who to talk with, talk to your club president. If you don't get much joy, head to your district governor, and I'm sure they'll be able to help. Hopefully they'll point you to us, and we'll be really, really delighted to help you. Finally, thank you so much for your attention and your passion. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I really look forward to catching up with you, hopefully physically very, very soon. Take care, and I will end this session now. So
Thank you, Sarita.
wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarita.
Thank you.
Well done, Sarita. Well done.
Thank you, Sarita.
Bye.